Wel, Nikki Bush is nog saam met ons in die ateljee en sy gee wenke vir alle ouers oor hoekom verskillende maniere van speel so belangrik is vir jou kind se ontwikkeling.
Now, earlier we spoke about the importance of play in a child's life and developmental stages, and we're continuing that conversation right now with our creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, and why play is so important when it comes to your young ones. Nikki, very interesting. I think a lot of parents, we take play for granted. We don't really know what goes on when it's, when a child plays, what kind of connections they are forming. But would you say there's a cut-off stage to, when kids should stop playing, or should kids kind of continue playing throughout, into their teens, onwards and onwards and onwards?
So this is a very interesting question, Ewan, because often parents, particularly dads, will come to me when their children hit grade 1 and they start reading and writing and say, well, can we ditch the toys now?
Play's done now, yeah.
And actually, no, you can't, because children learn through play right through school, particularly those first 12 years.
Yeah.
Play is equal to learning. Okay, play and learning are synonymous.
I think that this type of play starts to differ.
Absolutely. It's just the type of play and the kinds of games they play with that differs. But one of the important things that you need to remember in a family environment is play is a very special language. It's not the same as talking to a child. It is a different language that children understand in a very different way. It's a beautiful way of bonding with your children is playing, because play is unstressful. And it's a way of getting rid of stress and finding ways to connect. So when we play, whether it be, say a card game with younger children, we get the opportunity to praise and encourage our children. We get that opportunity to say things in a way we wouldn't normally say things. And children are learning incidentally. Take Monopoly, for example, learning about money, learning about making strategic decisions, that kind of thing. So we want children to think critically. We want children to do problem solving, but we want them to do it in their own way, not necessarily by rote. And there's a lot of rote learning that can take place in school, and some of that is necessary, but we want to keep that flame of learning and love of learning alive.
Now, there's a lot of things that, just watching your kids play can show you and can teach you about your child as well. But on the flip side, how can observing your child play, give you kind of warning signs of some developmental issue that you might be picking up? Can you pick up any of those issues when you just observe a child playing?
Of course you can. So when little ones are sort of 18 months to 2.5 years old, they can't blow out their birthday candles. They go like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they learn to move their lips, their mouths, their tongue, their cheeks, and they learn how to blow bubbles.
Yes.
Now, blowing bubbles is your p and your burst sounds.
Yes.
So things like bubbles, for example, can pick up speech problems.
Okay.
If a child is playing with a game like this, for example, where they're having to use the pincer grip and these tweezers, and if they can't do it at the appropriate age, it might mean that their fine motor coordination is underdeveloped. If a child is drawing on big pieces of paper or painting on big pieces of paper and only working on one side or the other side of the page, not on both sides, it means they may not be crossing their midline of their body, which integrates both left and right sides of the brain.
Okay.
Take a puzzle. If a 5-year-old cannot do a basic puzzle, because this is spatial planning to get the piece in the right place, there may be a spatial planning issue. So we need to watch children, and that's why we have early childhood development experts, preschool teachers who are trained to watch for those kind of developmental issues.
Very interesting. Just quickly to wrap up, I think, when it comes to playing in kids, especially when they're younger, some kids play a little bit easier than others, by themselves. What do you stand to do as a parent? Let's say you find your child not wanting to play by himself. How do you encourage that behavior?
So we need both. We need children who can play by themselves and children who can happily play with other children. Once again, when you watch them play, you can sometimes pick up those issues. Play is a bridge between parent and child, a bridge between teacher and child, a bridge between formal and informal learning. So this is why play is important, to take children on that learning journey so that when they get into that grade R classroom, they actually have strong foundation skills that are going to make learning far easier.
Brilliant. Nikki, thank you so much for your very valuable advice. I'm sure you've helped a lot of parents out there this morning. Thank you. So never ever underestimate the importance of play when it comes to your children. Encourage them.